Hey everyone, TJ Hernandez here with RosterCoach.com, and this is the Week 17 GPP Value Report, where each week I go through the featured contests on the main slate for both FanDuel and DraftKings and discuss the payout structures for these featured contests to help you aid in your decision-making for game selection each week. And as we've seen on FanDuel pretty much over the last month or two, the contests and the contest structures have maintained pretty much the same. We haven't seen much fluctuation in prize pools or games available, and we see that here up to the $10 level. The Sunday Million is still the same exact structure as last week, with $250,000 going to first place. The NFL Rush is a game at the $5 level that's offering $40,000 to first place. That game is the same size as it was last week, still less than 20% of the field being paid out there, and about 20% of the money going to first place. And the only other two contests at the lower stakes that have a first place prize of at least $10,000 are the Huddle at the $3 level, which is no experienced players allowed, and the Snap at the $4.44 level. Again, both of those structures almost exactly the same as last week. The Huddle went up from $40,000 to $50,000 in the total prize pool, so $10,000 to first place in that one this week. And where you're getting a drop in rake in that game, the structure isn't as great as it was earlier in the year, about 20% of the field being paid out in that one, with 20% of the money going to first place as well. There are a couple games at the lower stakes that have pretty flat payout structures. The Pancake Block at the 25-cent level, that game's paying out 25% of the field. Only 5% of the money's going to first. Just first place up top in that game, and at that 25-cent buy-in level on FanDuel, the rake is 16.5%. The other contest that does stand out in terms of a flat payout structure is the Snap at the $2 level. That's a 30 max game, a $100,000 prize pool. Just $5,000 of that $100,000 is going to first place, and 25% of the field is being paid out in that game. Moving up to the higher stakes contest, FanDuel has been running a $1 million contest at the $250 buy-in level. They changed the name of it this week, the $1 million Do You Want More? And $250,000 is going to first place in that game. That matches the highest percentage of a prize pool going to first place. The other two being the Bomb at the $33 level, $100,000 of the $400,000 prize pool is going to first place in that game, and the Monster, we see $50,000 of the $200,000 first prize pool going to first place, that being at the $555 level. All of those contests paying out about 20% of the field. Not too many other big games with those big prize pools at these higher stakes. The one that does kind of stand out to me is the Kickoff still. That's the $12 buy-in level, $20,000 to first place, but 26% of the field is being paid. So that's the highest payout percentage you're going to see of any game above the $10 level. And then if you move up to that $15 buy-in level, the onside kick, we see that contest paying out 24% of the field, but just $4,000 up top in that one. So sacrificing quite a bit of upside for that flatter payout structure in that one. All the other games at these stakes kind of fall in the middle in terms of payout structure or first place prize. Nothing real big to be had. One contest that we did see shift a little bit is the Hot Route at the $50 level. You do see a rake drop there, but now only 17.5% of the field is being paid in that one. So really steep payout there. Moving on over to DraftKings, looking at the featured games over there, DraftKings has continued to shake up the games that are available and the structures of games that have been available throughout the year. So definitely want to be paying attention to how the games are shifting over there. And we will start by looking at games up to the $9 buy-in level. Outside of the Millionaire, DraftKings is rolling out three big featured contests this week that haven't been on the slate before, basically a 80th special that they're calling it. So at this $8 level, we see the mini special with a $1.75 million prize pool, $200,000 going to first place in that game. For a game with a bigger structure, with a big first place prize, usually we see DraftKings put a really steep payout structure on those games. This one isn't that bad. A quarter of the field is being paid. Just over 11% of the money is going to first place, and that's a lot for these lower stakes. Most of the contests are 10% or under in terms of money going to first place, but when the first place prize is that big and it's one of those featured contests that we're talking about, that's pretty decent. But of course, you're going to be facing a field of over 250,000 people. If you do want to stay at these lower stakes games and you're looking for a little bit smaller field, the play action at the $3 level is offering $25,000 to first place. 28% almost of the field is being paid out in that one. Still facing 150,000 opponents, but again, just $3 in that one. And that's the only other game you're going to find with at least a 5-digit first place prize at these lower stakes. The only one that really comes close is the huddle at the $4 level, $7,500 up top in that one. But all these other contests, less than $5,000 go into first place. We don't see as big of payouts in terms of percentage of the field that we usually see. We're usually seeing 6 or 7 contests well above 25%. Just 5 this week. The daily dollar at the $1 level, safety at the $2 level. I mentioned the play action already. And then we have the flea flicker and the bubble screen. Those paying out over 25% of the field. Finally, looking at the higher stakes games, the games priced $12 and above on DraftKings. The Millionaire, again, they changed the structure of that one. Last week it was a $1,500 buy-in. This week the buy-in is $80, a $4 million prize pool. So we see a quarter of the money going to first place in that one. 56,000 entrants in the Millionaire. So probably the best balance of buy-in size and field size that you're going to get at a chance to win $1 million. So if you couldn't afford the $1,500 last week, but the $20 buy-in with that huge field kind of made you shy away from it, this might be the week to go after the Millionaire. I mentioned the specials that DraftKings is running. The big special is an $888 buy-in, $1.8 million prize pool, $200,000 going to first place in that one. 22% of the field being paid there, so just one other contest paying out a smaller percentage of the field this week. That's the power sweep at the $150 level, so a lot of upside there, but again, going to be hard to cash in that one relative to how many people are getting paid out in some of the other games. I mentioned the power sweep, $50,000 first place prize and a $400,000 prize pool. The field is less than 3,000 people buying $150, but less than 21% of the field being paid out in that game. If you can move up to the $333 level, the Wildcat is a 3-max contest this week. Again, $50,000 first place prize in that game, and you just have to best a field of 834 opponents, so a little better chance, but again, you're moving up quite a bit in buy-ins. And then the only other really big contest that stands out in terms of big upside is the Sunday special. $20 buy-in level. I mentioned that the Millionaire is at the $80 buy-in level now, so those that were playing the $20 level, this game is taking place of that. $30,000 up top in that game, $300,000 prize pool, less than 24% of the field being paid in that game. The only 3 contests that are paying out more than 25% of the field at these higher stakes are the Hail Mary at the $12 level, but there's just $1,000 up top in that one. The 3-point stance at the $33 level, that's another 3-max game, and first place is $10,000, so that's a pretty decent game to check out. And the Red Zone is a single entry game at the $50 buy-in level, almost 27% of the field being paid out, but just $3,000 up top. So especially on DraftKings, be sure you're paying attention to these game structures because they are fluctuating quite a bit. Now, my guess is they're going to continue to fluctuate throughout the playoffs, so stay tuned. This is not the last week. We got DFS going through championship week, and we'll continue to be doing these videos through championship week. So see you guys next week. If you have any questions, please hit me up. Talk to you later.